Hi, my name's Mary, Principal Pilates Practitioner here at Pilates Just For You. Today's video is just a short video to introduce you to some underlying things you need to understand and how we apply that to Pilates movement. Pilates focuses on a lot of different things, but its main emphasis is through the centre here, through the pelvic region and your core strength, but also overall body strength. You can expect to work on things like your flexibility, working through the tight joints that apply to you, and also being able to work through mobility of the joints. An example of this is if our shoulder joint here should be able to move that arm in a 360-degree action. We don't often do that, so we're going to get those joints working the way they should. We also work on things like your balance, your coordination, and also through breath. You're going to have a better body awareness on some of the movements that you do as well, working on correct alignment and correct form. So to work out through our core strength, part of that is our pelvic floor activation. So the pelvic floor is like a bowl, kind of sits like that, and you'll see an image on the screen. And it connects to the pubic bone and also through to the tailbone area. Now, a great way to see whether or not we're getting good pelvic floor activation is to grab a towel. So I have one here and I've rolled it up a little bit. And what you'll end up doing is just taking the towel here and we're going to sit over the top of the towel so that that rolled up bed is sitting underneath. Now, have you ever thought about when you've had to go to the toilet and stop the wee midstream? So I want you to think about the muscles that you might activate through the front of the pelvic floor to do that. I definitely don't recommend that you do this on the toilet, okay? There's a view that it can cause urinary tract infections, okay? So the towel is going to give us feedback, not so much when we engage those muscles, but when we relax them. So the way I'm going to get you to focus on it is just that feeling of a drawing in sensation. That bowl ends up coming upside down. It draws in and up on itself there, okay? So think of those muscles there now, but it's when you relax them. Can you feel this sense of dropping into the towel underneath? Focus again, breathing in, and then breathe out as you engage the pelvic floor. And then relax. So just take a moment to focus on that. Shoulders are relaxed, the thighs are relaxed. The glutes are relaxed. It's all internal. And now start to think about the rear part of the pelvic floor and how it attaches to that tailbone or that coccyx bone area. And think about stopping wind, okay? Sounds a bit strange, but I want you to think about drawing in of that coccyx bone. You'll feel it a little bit more through the rear passage now. But try not to lose focus through the front passage as well. Give yourself a moment here now to draw those muscles in onto each other and then relax them back. Now don't be disheartened too much if you can't feel much today. It can take a little bit of focus, but if you really do struggle, I would recommend you see a pelvic floor physiotherapist. Okay, good. And some of the things you might work on is starting to test your endurance. And trying to hold your pelvic floor for 30 seconds and then releasing. And you can also add things like little pulses. So just some gentle drawing in, up and down, but a little bit more of a faster pace. The pelvic floor should remain a little flexible. You don't want it too tight because that can cause some real issues. You just want a nice pliable pelvic floor. Not too loose, not too strong. Okay, so the next thing I want to teach you is how do we activate our deep core muscles. And you see here on the screen how the transverse abdominis muscle connects into that rib cage here. It brings itself down. It connects between the rib cage and the hip bone here. So you can see how that would offer some good support. And then it reaches right down here. It also wraps around the back. So I always explain this, it's like your body's corset. So how do we activate those muscles? Let's lie down. I have got a stick here, but you can also do this with your hands. So if we lie down here and just pull the the shoulder blades back and down, feel nice and relaxed through there. I'd like for you to bring one leg up off the mat, and I want you to just bring on any of your tummy muscles here to support your spine as we bring the other leg up. At this point, I'll get you to grab your stick. You can use a broomstick. And all you're simply going to do is press the stick into your thighs and the thighs into the stick. And straight away, I feel that's really deep connection here, more through the lower part of the abdomen. Okay, so let's try that again. So just bring those tummy muscles on. All right, take a big breath in. And as you breathe out, just press the stick into the thighs into the stick. Can you feel a little bit of your back muscles as well? Okay, so the tummy and the spine working together here to hold you nice and stable. Have a little rest. We're going to do one more, and what I want you to be aware of now is generally we all have a lower curve here under our back, and I want you to just keep it where it is. Some people tend to push their back into the mat here or overarch it. We just want to keep it nice and relaxed in its what we call a neutral position. All right, let's try again. Bring one leg up and then the other. All right, and press and hold and breathe. And you might even feel a little bit shaky, that's fine. Good, and now relax one foot down and then the other. So that's pretty much how you activate the transverse abdominis, and then what you'll find is that it will take some practice to be able to switch that muscle on yourself, but when you do, it's great. You're really going to maximise what you get out of your core strength. So to explain the neutral pelvis or neutral spine, we're going to go back to that discussion where we talked about we have this little curve through what we call our lumbar part of the spine. For some people it can be really flat. Try to flatten that. And for other people it could be a little bit sort of curvy through the lower back there. So you want to find that area where it's just nice and neutral here. And we're going to lie down. So we're coming back down onto the mat. And at this point, I'll get you to place one hand just a little bit under that part of the spine, and also one on the abdomen here. I want you to try to think about activating that transverse abdominis muscle, and bring one leg up off the mat. Good. Now, I want you to feel like the pressure on the bottom hand and the top hand are the same. You may feel a little bit of tightening and shrinkage here with the top hand. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, keep the same pressure on your hand as you lower that leg down. Good, and then the same as you come back up. So ideally, the pelvis is not moving. It's just stay nice and still while the TA muscle, the transverse abdominis muscle, holds on. And the lower back muscles help to stabilise that as well. If you feel the pressure come off your hand, whether you go up or down, that'll change over time once you build up the strength. So you can try your other foot. Okay, take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, try to activate that TA muscle for me. Bring the leg up. Take another breath in here. Breathe out as you come down. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out as you engage the core muscles. Breathe in again and breathe out as you come down. So just try a couple more. Last one here. And breathe out. Good. All right, let's take our hand out from underneath. You might recall how that muscle came up here under the rib cage. So a way that you can test how to kind of feel that area a little more is we're going to bring one arm up to the ceiling, and if you can, what you'll do is take the arm over your head and just, if you look at my rib cage, if I don't allow the muscles to hold the ribs down, the rib kind of pops up here. You'll feel a lightening underneath, okay? And then when I bring it back in, you'll notice my ribs sort of sinks back down. I'll do it with both arms, you might see a better view of that. So as I come up, the rib cage pops up to the ceiling. And then as I bring it back down, it kind of depresses itself back down into this area. In Pilates, there's often a term called about knitting the ribs together. If you think about the gap between your ribs here, I want you to feel like you're closing the gap between your ribs. And a great way to activate that is through your breath out. So I'll get you to take a deep breath in right through the back of the ribs. And as you breathe out, see if you can close that gap. Knit the ribs together and feel kind of a little bit of activation here. Let's practice here again. Breathing in. Breathe out. Place your hands on the rib cage there, either side there. Feel how it opens, and then try to close the doors, so to speak, that drawing in towards each other. 2 more. Again, don't be too disheartened if you can't feel too much. It does take some practice and experience to get used to what we're trying to do here. So I'm going to bring the arm back up here and then my other arm up here. Let's test it and add some movement. Taking a deep breath in now. As you breathe out, think of closing the ribs, closing the doors, knitting the ribs together, and then come back in. A great way to tell whether or not you might be doing it correct is just be aware of the back of your rib cage here. So the back into the mat. And as you breathe out, the pressure should stay on the mat. And then the pressure should stay the same as you come back in. If you feel a lightening or a lifting underneath, it's just maybe that it's not quite there yet, or it just needs to be worked on there. And back in. Good. Okay, so you could apply, just to give you a little bit of a sense of idea of how we get that all to function as one, is to just bring one leg up again, maintain that neutral pelvis. And I've got my right leg here up, but I want you to bring your left arm up. Taking a deep breath in. As you breathe out, we're going to combine the 2 moves. And I want you to try not to flare the ribs as your arm goes back. And I don't want you to arch your back as the leg goes down. So we're going to stay on that side. Right? Breathe in and then breathe out. And be aware of what you're feeling with your back on the mat. Shouldn't alter. The pressure of the back of the hip should stay the same. The back of your rib cage. Good. Let's try the other side. Sometimes you might feel a difference with one side than the other. One arm up and then bring the other leg up, maintaining that neutral pelvis here. Take a deep breath in and breathe out as you take it away from the body and back in. Now can we start to think about adding the pelvic floor? Can you get those muscles on? And try to connect as you breathe out. Good. A couple more. Can be a little bit to think about, but like with anything with practice, it does start to flow and come together without you thinking about it too much at all. So like I said, that was just a short little video just to introduce you to some of the things that you need to think about and how we apply that to movement. With Pilates, you're going to have some modifications and variations that happen for different levels. And that's just going to help further emphasize how we build up our strength and then progress as we build up that strength as well. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Feel free to reach out, ask any questions, and hopefully I get to see you in studio or online. Have a great day.